Hey everybody, Anjelica Trinone here with intern Ryan Decker for the WVU game preview. The number 23 Mountaineers hit the road, travel to Fort Worth, Texas to face the number 8 TCU Horned Frogs. Now both teams are coming off a bye week, so let me ask you this, Ryan, especially with the injuries that WVU has on defense, do you feel like the bye week came at a good time for the Mountaineers?
Yeah, especially with those injuries. I feel like the bye week came at a pretty opportune time for the Mountaineers. You get the chance to get some of these guys back. You get them an extra week to rehab and get all the the chinks in the armor kind of out a little bit. So yeah, it came at a good time. Even though personally, I always like when the bye week comes right in the middle of the season. You play the first 6 or 7 games, get that week off, and then you can gear up for the rest of the season.
Yeah, guys like Kaiser White, Mike Daniels, Toyus Avery that went out against Marvin Gross that had been out for West Virginia or either went out during that Kansas game. Do you think that this WVU defense will there be any noticeable changes that we will see whenever all those key components are back out there playing together?
You hope for more consistent play. That should hope to be the change, I would think, is that you can stop the run game a little bit better for the opposing teams. There's not as many missed assignments, in the passing game, so you just hope it's the consistency that changes a little bit.
Now, going back to last season, WVU won this matchup against TCU 34-10. So what are some of the differences that you see in quarterback Kenny Hill? Right now, he's close to 1,000 yards on the season so far. What is different from when he was in Morgantown last year to the way he's performing this season?
I think the difference is that offensive line for TCU is a little bit better. They seem to have really beefed that up front. And then from looking at tape and then from just looking at the stats, it seems like they're going to the shorter passing game. He's not throwing it downfield. It's not your typical Big 12 offense. It's the shorter intermediate route passes that are having him have a completion percentage of around 73%. That's going to win TCU some ball games as he's matured as a passer, and then that running game helps too, obviously.
Now he's dishing it out to a lot of receivers this season. I think against Oklahoma State in that last matchup where they were on the road and upset the Cowboys. I believe he threw it to about 8 receivers. Then they've got their running back, Darius Anderson, and Hicks should be coming back into the picture this week. So that poses, another big challenge for the WVU defense that it probably hasn't seen a defense like this since Virginia Tech.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, for TCU. They've got a lot of weapons, but the good thing is West Virginia has faced a team in Virginia Tech right at the jump of the season that had a number of weapons. Obviously, everyone at that time was keying in on Cam Phillips, but Virginia Tech had a number of other good weapons too. So that's the positive thing for West Virginia is they've faced some good offenses so far already this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And the players had said that they felt starting off with Virginia Tech would help them at coming into a matchup like this, one of the biggest challenges that they have faced so far this season. So let's talk a little bit offensively. Of course, Will Grier has been just as great as everybody thought he would be through these past couple games, putting up over 300 yards for each. And, of course, you got Justin Crawford, Kennedy McCoy, and then David Sills, Gary Jennings, all the receivers. So how do you think that this WVU offense matches up against a TCU defense that's been pretty great at pressuring the quarterback, and their secondary is causing turnovers as well?
The good thing is that West Virginia has kind of that three-headed monster in the backfield with McCoy, Pettaway, and Crawford obviously leading the way. TCU's been a good rush-stopping defense, but it's hard to stop 3 guys at once. So I don't know if TCU is going to be able to do that for the entire game. Crawford, we talked about it before we came on, that Crawford's always due for a long rush once a game. It's just you hope he can complete that rush and at some point find the end zone. So that's how West Virginia offensively will attack it, and then it's how much Dana Holgorsen and Jake Spavital plan during the off week of getting new plays, new combinations and personnel, how much you can throw Gary Patterson that he hasn't seen yet this season out of WVU.
Yeah, absolutely, and I know that we had heard from some of the guys on Tuesday during media availability that they said one thing that they were working on receiving-wise was the timing with Will Grier and, of course, ball security with the running backs there as well, just making sure that they are remaining as consistent as they are, because that was an issue with Justin Crawford last season. He would have 100 yards here, then it would be another game. He's got only 50 yards and maybe like 2 fumbles down by the goal line. So great to see him being more consistent as well. But offensively, we heard from the team after Kansas that they said they weren't satisfied with playing a complete game. They felt that the way that they started and the way that they end just really didn't match up, or there were certain quarters to where you know, they just felt they could have produced more. But when you look at what's ahead this weekend, this is going to be a time when WVU really needs to emphasize playing a complete game.
Yeah, you definitely do. And even if it's not scoring every possession, because that's a little hard to ask of a team, you've got to be able to move the ball down the field and take some time off the clock. West Virginia, I think, is still under 2 minutes per scoring possession. That number's got to go up a little bit to give the defense some time to rest, so that way when that TCU offense is out there, which likes to grind out the clock, they can be a little more rested. So you have to move the ball no matter what. 3 and outs are going to be tough pill to swallow in this game.
Yeah, now on special teams, it's really been looking up for WVU, especially compared to last season. In part 2, Marcus Sims has been doing a great job there in the return game. But if you look at TCU's special teams, they've got a good unit as well. So who do you see winning that special teams battle, and do you think that it is going to be a factor in this game?
For most games like this, yeah, special teams does end up determining the outcome, whether it's a guy like Marcus Sims returning a punt from just, say, the 20 to the 40 as opposed to the 20 to the 25. Sometimes that field position battle is won and lost with special teams. So whichever team can do that the best, and maybe traditionally that might be TCU, but whichever team can do that the best is probably going to have the upper hand late in the game especially.
Yeah, and TCU is going to have a lot of momentum there, not only coming off that big upset over Oklahoma State, but College game day is going to be in town. And like we were talking about earlier, just kind of funny how the last time that game day was in Morgantown was for the WVU TCU matchup as well. So going to be a great atmosphere for the Mountaineers, certainly going to be a great game with a lot of energy from both teams. And we know the College game day will be on, but we hope that you will join us for Mountaineer game day coming up on Saturday morning starting at 10 a.m. We've also got a brand new episode of the Dana Holgerson Show coming up for you this weekend as well. So we hope that you will join us for that. Ryan, appreciate you being with us again this week. Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you will join us next week again here for the WVU game preview. For Ryan Decker, I'm Anjelica Trinone.